When millionaire CEO Ethan Pierce was left standing alone at the altar, in front of hundreds of guests, he thought his life was over. But what he didn't know was that his real life was about to begin in the most unexpected way. Fleeing his humiliation, he crashed into a single black mother at a small-town grocery store, and in that collision, everything changed. Maya Johnson had built walls around her heart that no amount of money could break down, but Ethan wasn't offering money. He was offering something she'd almost forgotten existed. Just when they thought they'd found their forever, his glamorous ex-fiancée tracked him down with a proposal that could destroy everything, and the paparazzi turned their private love into a public scandal that had the whole town talking. What happened next shocked everyone, including the woman who thought she could never trust again. Subscribe right now and comment where you're watching from, because this story proves that sometimes the worst day of your life is actually the doorway to your greatest blessing. Hit that subscribe button if you believe in second chances and love that heals broken hearts. The church was packed. Every pew held someone important. Business partners in expensive suits. Society women dripping with diamonds. Photographers positioned in the back, their cameras ready to capture the perfect moment. Ethan Pierce stood at the altar in his custom-made tuxedo. His hands were clasped in front of him. His heart hammered against his ribs. The organ music swelled, and he turned toward the doors at the back of the church. Any second now, Chloe would appear. The music played. The doors stayed closed. Ethan's best man shifted beside him. "She's probably just—" "I know," Ethan said quickly. His jaw was tight. "Wedding jitters. She'll be here." But the music kept playing, the same part, over and over. The organist didn't know what else to do. Whispers started in the front row. They spread like wildfire through the crowd. Ethan felt hundreds of eyes on him, pitying eyes, curious eyes. Some people were already pulling out their phones. His mother stood up from her seat. She hurried to the side door where the bridal party was supposed to be waiting. When she came back, her face was pale. "Ethan," she said softly. She climbed the steps to the altar. Her voice was barely a whisper. "She's not here. Chloe's not in the building. Her bridesmaid said she left an hour ago." The words hit him like a punch to the stomach. "What?" His voice cracked. "She's gone, sweetheart. She left a note. She said she couldn't do this." The whispers grew louder. Someone gasped. A camera flash went off. Ethan's world tilted. His throat closed up. Heat flooded his face. Every person in this church was watching him fall apart. Every phone was probably recording his humiliation. By tomorrow, this would be everywhere. The CEO who got left at the altar. The millionaire nobody wanted to marry. He couldn't breathe. "Ethan," his mother started. But he was already moving. His feet carried him down the altar steps, down the aisle, past all those staring faces, past the photographers scrambling to catch him, past everything. He burst through the church doors into the evening air. Rain was falling, cold, hard rain that soaked through his jacket in seconds. He didn't care. He ran to his car, fumbling with his keys. His hands were shaking so badly he almost dropped them. The car roared to life. He peeled out of the parking lot, tires screeching on wet pavement. In his rearview mirror, he could see people pouring out of the church, watching him flee like a coward. His phone buzzed, then buzzed again and again, messages flooding in. He grabbed it and threw it onto the passenger seat. The windshield wipers couldn't keep up with the rain. The road blurred in front of him. But Ethan kept driving, away from the church, away from the city, away from everyone who had just witnessed his shame. Thunder rumbled overhead. Lightning cracked across the sky. "Never again," he said into the empty car. His voice was harsh. "Never again." He drove for hours, through the storm, through the night, until the city lights faded behind him and there was nothing but dark road ahead. Morning light stabbed through the cheap motel curtains like a knife. Ethan groaned and rolled over. His head pounded. His mouth tasted like cotton. Empty minibar bottles littered the nightstand. For one blissful second he didn't remember. Then it all came crashing back. Chloe, the church, the staring faces, the rain. He grabbed his phone. 47 missed calls, over 200 text messages. He opened social media and immediately wished he hadn't. The photos were everywhere. Him standing alone at the altar, looking lost. Him running from the church in the rain. The headlines were worse. Millionaire CEO jilted at the altar. Boston's most eligible bachelor gets left behind. Where's the bride? Ethan Pierce's wedding disaster. Some of the articles were sympathetic. Most were mocking. All of them had been shared thousands of times. His hands clenched around the phone. He wanted to throw it, smash it, but that wouldn't change anything. A knock at the door made him jump. "Housekeeping! Not now!" he shouted back. He sat up, running his hands through his hair. He couldn't stay here. People would recognize him eventually. The press would find him. He needed to disappear for a while, somewhere quiet, somewhere no one knew his name. He grabbed his laptop and searched for small towns within driving distance. Something coastal, something peaceful, somewhere he could hide until this nightmare blew over. An hour later, he was back on the road. His destination, a tiny coastal town 3 hours north, population 4,000, one main street, a handful of shops, the kind of place where nobody cared about millionaire CEOs or society weddings. Perfect. The grocery store was small, just 3 aisles, worn linoleum floors and fluorescent lights that buzzed overhead. Ethan grabbed a basket. He hadn't eaten since yesterday morning. His stomach was a hollow pit. He threw in bread, eggs, coffee, frozen dinners. The basics. He wasn't planning to cook anything fancy. He turned the corner toward the checkout lane, not paying attention, and crashed straight into someone. Grocery bags went flying. Apples rolled across the floor. A carton of milk burst open, spreading white across the tiles. "Oh God, I'm so sorry," Ethan started. "Watch where you're going." The woman's voice was sharp, frustrated. She was on her knees trying to gather the scattered groceries. Dark skin, natural hair pulled back in a ponytail, wearing scrubs like she'd just come from work. She looked exhausted. A little girl stood beside her, maybe 6 years old, big brown eyes staring up at Ethan. She looked scared. "I'm sorry," Ethan said again. He knelt down to help. "Let me—" "Don't touch those." The woman pulled a bag away from him. "You've done enough." Her words stung, but Ethan deserved them. He'd been careless. "Mama?" The little girl's voice was small. "Are you mad?" "No, baby. I'm not mad at you." The woman's voice softened when she looked at her daughter. This man just wasn't watching where he was going. Ethan stood up slowly. He pulled his wallet out. "Let me pay for the milk and anything else that got damaged. We don't need your charity." The woman stood too. She gathered her daughter close. Her eyes met Ethan's, and there was something fierce in them, protective, like a mother bear guarding her cub. "It's not charity. It's me trying to fix my mistake. Some mistakes can't be fixed with money." The words hit harder than they should have. Was she talking about the groceries, or could she somehow know who he was? No, that was paranoid thinking. She couldn't possibly know. A store employee rushed over with a mop. "So sorry about this, Maya. We'll get you replacement items right away." Maya. Her name was Maya. "Thank you, George." Maya took her daughter's hand. She looked at Ethan one more time. Her expression was guarded, cautious. "Just be more careful next time." She walked away, her daughter glancing back over her shoulder. The little girl gave Ethan a curious look before her mother gently turned her head forward. Ethan stood there feeling like an idiot. He'd been in town for 20 minutes and had already made an enemy. Great start. That evening, Ethan needed food. Real food, not frozen dinners. The motel room felt like a cage. He needed to get out, walk around, clear his head. Main Street had one diner. It looked like it had been there for 50 years. Red vinyl booths. A long counter with spinning stools. The smell of coffee and bacon grease. Ethan slid into a booth by the window. He kept his head down, studying the laminated menu like it held the secrets of the universe. "What can I get you?" He looked up. It was her, Maya, the woman from the grocery store. She wore a black apron over her clothes now. Her expression shifted from professional politeness to recognition. "You." "Me," Ethan said. He tried for a smile. "Small town. Very small." She pulled out her order pad. "What do you want?" "No pleasantries, just straight to business." "Coffee, black, and the burger." "Medium." She wrote it down without looking at him. "Fries or salad?" "Fries." She walked away before he could say anything else. Ethan watched her move behind the counter. She was efficient, quick. She poured his coffee without spilling a drop, slid plates to customers with practiced ease. This wasn't her first job, maybe not even her second. A little voice piped up from a corner booth. "Mama, I dropped them." Ethan turned. The little girl, Maya's daughter, was sitting in a booth with a coloring book. Crayons had scattered across the floor, rolling under the table. Maya was taking someone's order. She hadn't heard. The little girl climbed down from her seat and crawled under the table, trying to reach the crayons, but they'd rolled too far. Ethan stood up. He walked over. "Hey there." The little girl backed out from under the table. She looked up at him with those big brown eyes, wary. "Your crayons went everywhere," Ethan said gently. He knelt down. "Mind if I help?" She didn't answer, just watched him. Ethan reached under the table and pulled out the crayons one by one. Red, blue, green, yellow. He held them out to her. "Here you go." The little girl took them slowly. Then she smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. "You're tall," she said. Ethan laughed. "Yeah, I guess I am." "Can you reach that one?" She pointed to a purple crayon that had rolled way under the next booth. "Sure." He stretched, his arm barely fitting. His fingers closed around the crayon. He handed it to her like it was a precious gem. "Purple's my favorite," she announced. "Good choice, it's a nice color." "Lila." Ethan blinked. "What?" "My name. It's Lila." "Oh, hi Lila, I'm Ethan." "That's a grown-up name." "Well, I'm pretty grown-up." She giggled. Actually giggled. "Lila." Maya was walking toward them, her face concerned. When she saw Ethan kneeling beside her daughter, something flashed in her eyes. Fear? Anger? "I dropped my crayons, Mama. He helped me find them." Maya's shoulders relaxed slightly. That's nice of him. But her eyes stayed on Ethan, watching his every move. "Come on, baby. Time to finish your picture so we can go home soon." "Okay." Lila climbed back into the booth. She waved at Ethan. A full-handed, enthusiastic wave. He waved back. Maya didn't say anything. She just walked away. But Ethan saw her glance back once. Her expression was complicated. Confused, maybe. Like she didn't know what to make of him. When his burger arrived, Maya set it down without a word. But Lila kept watching him from her booth. Every time he looked over, she'd wave again. Before he left, he made sure to leave a generous tip. Morning came too early. Ethan had rented a small cabin on the outskirts of town. Nothing fancy, just a bedroom, a kitchen, and a porch that looked out over the water. It was quiet, peaceful. Everything his life in Boston wasn't. He stepped outside with his coffee. The air smelled like salt and pine. Seagulls cried overhead. The ocean stretched out forever, grey-blue and endless. This was good. This was what he needed. He walked to his car, planning to drive into town for breakfast. But when he turned the key, nothing happened. Click, click, click. No, come on. He tried again. Nothing. He popped the hood and stared at the engine like it might explain itself. Ethan knew business. He knew investments and board meetings and stock portfolios. But cars? Cars were a mystery. "Great," he muttered. "Perfect." A vehicle slowed on the road. He looked up. It was an old truck, paint faded but well-maintained. And behind the wheel was Maya. She pulled over, her window rolling down. "Car trouble?" "Dead battery, I think." She studied him for a moment. Then she sighed like she was arguing with herself. "Pop your hood. It's already—" "I know. I meant, keep it open." She parked and got out. "You got jumper cables?" Maybe in the trunk." "Go check." He did. Miraculously, there were cables. He brought them over. Maya hooked them up with practiced efficiency. She knew exactly what she was doing. "Try it now." Ethan turned the key. The engine coughed, sputtered, then roared to life. "There you go." She unhooked the cables and wound them up. "Let it run for a while. And get that battery checked. It's probably dying." "Thank you." Ethan paused. "You didn't have to stop." "No, I didn't." She handed him the cables. "But my mama raised me to help people when they need it. Even people who crash into me in grocery stores." There was a hint of humor in her voice. Just a hint. "I really am sorry about that." "I know. You said so about 5 times." She walked back to her truck. "Get that battery checked, like I said." "I will." "Hey, Maya." She turned. "Can I buy you coffee? Or lunch? As a thank you?" Her expression shuttered. "You don't owe me anything." "I know. But I'd like to anyway." She looked at him for a long moment, like she was trying to figure something out. Finally, she shook her head. "I've got to get to work." She climbed into her truck and drove away. Ethan watched her go, feeling oddly disappointed, but word traveled fast in small towns. That afternoon, Ethan walked into the diner. The lunch rush was over. Only a few people sat scattered around. They all looked at him when he entered. An older man at the counter leaned toward his companion. "That's him, the guy who helped Maya with her car this morning." The other man studied Ethan. "New in town?" "Just passing through," Ethan said politely. He took a seat. Maya came out from the kitchen. She saw him and paused. Then she grabbed a menu and brought it over. "You're back. The food's good. You barely touched your burger last night." "I was tired. Today I'm hungry." She set the menu down. "What do you want? How about that coffee and lunch I mentioned?" I'm working. What time do you get off? Why do you want to know? Ethan met her eyes. Because I'm new here. I don't know anyone. And you've been kind to me, even when you didn't have to be. I'd like to return the favor. I don't need favors. Then call it friendship. We're not friends. Not yet. Something flickered in her expression. Amusement? Frustration? It was gone before he could tell. I have my daughter with me. That's okay. She's 6. She talks a lot. I like kids. Maya crossed her arms. Why are you really here? In this town? The question caught him off guard. I needed a break from the city. What do you do for work? Here it was. The moment he had to decide. Tell her the truth and watch her shut down, or keep pretending to be just Ethan, nobody important. I work in business, management stuff. It's boring. Not technically a lie, but not the whole truth either. She studied him like she was trying to see through him. Fine, ice cream, we get off at 3. There's a place down by the pier. Ice cream sounds perfect. And you're buying. Of course. She walked away, but he caught the smallest hint of a smile on her face. The ice cream shop was painted cheerful yellow. Little tables sat outside under striped umbrellas. The place smelled like waffle cones and sugar. Lila pressed her face against the glass case, studying every flavor like it was the most important decision of her life. Chocolate or strawberry? Maya asked her daughter. Both. Pick one, baby. But Mama, one, Maya said firmly. Lila's face fell. She looked at Ethan with big, pleading eyes. What? Ethan said. Can I have both? Please? Maya shot him a warning look. Don't. How about this? Ethan said. You pick one flavor, and I'll get a different flavor. Then we can trade bites. That way you get to taste both. Lila's face lit up. Really? Really? Okay. I want chocolate. They got their ice cream and sat at one of the outside tables. The sun was warm. A breeze came off the water. Boats bobbed in the harbor. Lila swung her legs under the table, chocolate already smeared on her chin. What's your flavor? Mint chip. Can I try? Ethan held out his cone. She took a tiny lick, her nose wrinkling. It's cold. It's ice cream. It's supposed to be cold. No, I mean it tastes cold. Like winter. Ethan laughed. Yeah, it does. She offered him her cone. He took a small bite. Chocolate's good. It's the best, Lila announced. Then she grinned at him, chocolate covering her teeth. Maya watched this exchange quietly. She ate her strawberry ice cream, her one small indulgence, and didn't say much. But Ethan caught her looking at him sometimes, studying him, like she was trying to figure out who he really was. Do you have kids? Lila asked suddenly. Lila, Maya said. That's personal. It's okay, Ethan said. No, I don't have kids. Why not? Lila, I guess I never met the right person. Are you married? Now Maya's voice was sharp. Lila Johnson. That's enough. But Mama, I'm just asking. I know what you're doing. Eat your ice cream. Lila pouted, but obeyed. Ethan felt the weight of Maya's protective gaze. She was watching how he interacted with her daughter, making sure he didn't say anything wrong, didn't make promises he couldn't keep. Smart woman. They finished their ice cream as the sun moved lower in the sky. Lila chatted about school, her friends, her favorite color, purple, obviously, and how she wanted a dog, but her mama said they couldn't afford one right now. Lila, Maya said gently. What? It's true. Some things we keep private. The little girl looked confused. But why? Because, as they walked back toward Maya's truck, Lila reached up and grabbed Ethan's hand. It was so natural, so trusting, her small fingers wrapped around his. You're funny, she said. Funny looking? Or funny ha-ha? She giggled. Funny ha-ha. Well, good. Can you come to dinner at our house? Lila! Maya's voice was sharp now. I just want... We talked about this. You can't invite people over without asking Mama first. Lila's face fell. Sorry, Mama. Maya's expression softened. She knelt down and kissed her daughter's forehead. It's okay, baby. I know you're excited, but we need to be careful. Why? Because that's how we stay safe. Lila looked up at Ethan. Are you dangerous? The question was so innocent, so direct. No, Ethan said quietly. I'm not dangerous, I promise. But Maya's eyes said something different. They said, everyone's dangerous until they prove otherwise. They said goodbye in the parking lot. Lila waved enthusiastically from the truck window. Maya gave him a small nod before driving away. Ethan stood there feeling lighter than he had in days. Maybe this town wasn't so bad after all. That night, Maya tucked Lila into bed. Mama? Yes, baby. I like Ethan. Maya smoothed her daughter's hair back. I know you do. He's nice. He helped me find my crayons and he let me try his ice cream. That was nice of him. Can he be my daddy? The words hit Maya like a freight train. She froze, her hand still on Lila's hair. Baby. It doesn't work like that. Why not? Because we barely know him. But I like him. Don't you like him? Maya didn't know how to answer that. Did she like Ethan? She barely knew him, but there was something about him, something gentle in the way he'd knelt down to help Lila with her crayons, something genuine in his apology at the grocery store, but Maya had been fooled before. It's bedtime, she said finally. Close your eyes. But Mama, sleep, Lila. We'll talk tomorrow. Lila huffed, but obeyed. Within minutes, her breathing evened out. Maya stood in the doorway watching her daughter sleep. Lila's father had left when she was a baby, just walked out one day and never came back. Maya had raised Lila alone, worked 2 jobs, sacrificed everything to make sure her baby had food, clothes, a roof over her head. She couldn't let just anyone into their lives. She couldn't risk Lila getting attached to someone who would leave, even if that someone had kind eyes and made her daughter laugh like she hadn't laughed in months. Meanwhile, Ethan walked along the pier, hands in his pockets. The water was dark, lights from boats reflected on the surface. Everything was quiet, except for the lap of waves against the dock. He thought about Lila's sticky hand in his, her chocolate-covered grin, the way she'd looked at him with complete trust. He thought about Maya's guarded eyes, the way she protected her daughter like a fortress. He thought about Chloe, about the church, about running away. For the first time in days, the humiliation didn't hurt quite so much. The anger had faded to a dull ache. Maybe this small town was exactly what he needed. Maybe hiding out here wasn't running away, it was healing. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out. 73 new messages. His mother, his business partner, his PR team. Everyone wanted to know where he was, what he was doing, when he was coming back. He turned the phone off and shoved it back in his pocket. Not yet. He wasn't ready to go back yet. The next morning, someone recognized him. Ethan was at the hardware store, buying light bulbs for the cabin. An older woman in line behind him squinted at his face. "You look familiar," she said. Ethan's stomach dropped. "I just have one of those faces." "No, I've seen you before. On TV, maybe." She pulled out her phone. Her fingers moved slowly across the screen. "Hold on, I'll remember. I don't think... Got it." She turned her phone toward him triumphantly. "You're that CEO, the one who got left at the altar." Every head in the store turned. Ethan felt his face go hot. "I really need to... Oh, honey." The woman's voice dripped with pity. "That must have been just awful. I read all about it. That fiancé of yours was a real piece of work." "Excuse me." Ethan grabbed his light bulbs and walked out, fast. Behind him, he heard voices rising in excitement, phones coming out, pictures being taken. By lunchtime, everyone in town would know who he was. Maya heard about it at the diner. "Did you hear?" One of the regular customers leaned across the counter. "That new guy, the one you've been hanging around?" Maya's hands stilled on the coffee pot. "What about him?" "He's Ethan Pierce, the Millionaire CEO. It's all over social media. He got left at his wedding and ran away to hide here." The coffee pot slipped from Maya's hand. It shattered on the floor, hot liquid spreading everywhere. "Maya!" Her coworker rushed over with a mop, but Maya wasn't listening. Her ears were ringing. Millionaire CEO, left at his wedding, hiding here. He'd lied to her. He'd said he worked in management. He'd pretended to be nobody, just Ethan, and she'd let him near her daughter. Anger burned hot in her chest. She found him at the pier that evening. He was sitting on a bench watching the sunset. He looked peaceful, relaxed. "Hey," he said when he saw her. A smile started on his face. "I was hoping..." "Who are you really?" Her voice was cold. The smile died. "Maya, Ethan Pierce, Millionaire CEO, left at the altar by some socialite." She crossed her arms. "Were you going to tell me, or were you just going to keep lying?" "I wasn't lying. You said you worked in management. That's a lie." "It's not a lie. I do manage things. So I just didn't mention the part where you're rich and famous and running from your problems." She stepped closer. "I asked you why you were here. You said you needed a break. That's not the truth either, is it? You're hiding." "Yes, okay? Yes, I'm hiding." Ethan stood up. "I was humiliated in front of hundreds of people. I was a joke on every social media platform. I needed to get away. Is that so wrong?" "No, but lying to me is wrong." "I didn't..." He stopped, breathed. "You're right. I should have told you." "Why didn't you?" Because I wanted to be normal for once. I wanted someone to see me as just Ethan, not Ethan Pierce, CEO, not the guy who got left at the altar. Just me. Maya's jaw clenched. My daughter likes you. She talked about you all night. She asked if you could be her daddy. Ethan's eyes widened. Maya, I know. But that's what happens when you let people into your life. They get attached. And when you leave, because you will leave, she'll be heartbroken. I'm not going to... Yes, you are. Maya's voice cracked. People like you always leave. You'll get bored of this little town. You'll go back to your fancy life in the city, and we'll just be a story you tell at cocktail parties. The single mom and her kid who entertained you while you were hiding out. That's not fair, isn't it? She blinked back tears. Angry tears. Hurt tears. I don't want my daughter caught up in your mess. Whatever you're dealing with, your ex, your reputation, your wounded pride, that's your problem, not ours. She turned to walk away. Maya, please, stay away from us, Ethan, or whatever your real name is. We don't need you. She walked away, her spine straight, her shoulders squared, but inside her heart was breaking, because part of her had hoped he was different. Part of her had wanted to believe that maybe, just maybe, someone good had walked into her life. She should have known better. Ethan sat back down on the bench. The sunset painted the sky in shades of orange and pink. Beautiful, peaceful. But all he felt was guilt. She was right. He'd lied. Maybe not directly, but by omission. He'd let her think he was just a regular guy passing through town. He'd let Lila get close to him without thinking about what would happen when he left. Because he would leave eventually, right? He thought about Lila's laugh, Maya's careful smile, the way this town had started to feel less like a hiding place and more like something else. He pulled out his phone and turned it back on. Messages flooded in immediately. One caught his eye. From Chloe. Ethan, please call me. We need to talk. I made a mistake. He stared at the message for a long time. Then he deleted it. Some mistakes couldn't be fixed. Some betrayals couldn't be forgiven. But maybe, just maybe, he could prove to Maya that not everyone left. That sometimes people stayed. That sometimes people were exactly who they said they were, or at least who they were trying to become. The sun dipped below the horizon, and Ethan made a decision. He wasn't running anymore. The diner was quiet when Ethan walked in the next morning. Maya was wiping down tables. She looked up when the bell above the door chimed. Her expression hardened. We're closed, she said. The sign says you open at 6. It's 6:15. We're closed to you. Ethan walked to the counter anyway. He set down a toolbox he'd bought at the hardware store. I noticed the door sticks, and that booth in the corner has a wobbly table. The light above the register flickers. So let me fix them. Maya stared at him. Why would you do that? Because I need to prove something to you, and because I don't know how else to do it. He met her eyes. I'm not good at a lot of things, Maya. I can't fix cars, I can't cook, but I can fix a door and a table. So let me do that. Please. I don't need your help. Maybe not, but I need to give it anyway. She studied him for a long moment. Then she sighed and went back to wiping tables. Fine, but don't get in the way and don't expect me to talk to you. Deal. Ethan spent the next 2 hours working. He adjusted the hinges on the front door until it swung smooth and easy. He shimmed the wobbly table with folded cardboard until it sat level. He replaced the flickering bulb and tightened the fixture. Maya worked around him, ignoring him. But he caught her watching once or twice, making sure he was doing things right, making sure he was really trying. When customers started coming in for breakfast, Ethan packed up his tools. I'll come back tomorrow, he said, if that's okay. Maya didn't answer, but she didn't say no either. The next morning, Ethan showed up again. The bathroom faucet drips, Maya said without looking at him, and the back door needs weather stripping. I'll take care of it. He did. And the morning after that, he came back and fixed a cracked tile in the kitchen, then a squeaky bar stool, then a shelf that was pulling away from the wall. By the end of the week, Maya was actually speaking to him. Short sentences, practical things, but it was more than silence. Coffee? She asked on Friday morning. Please. She poured him a cup, set it on the counter without meeting his eyes. You don't have to keep doing this. I know. So why do you? Because I hurt you, and I hurt Lila, even if I didn't mean to. He took a sip of the coffee. It was hot and strong, perfect. I can't take back what I did, but I can show you who I really am. Not the CEO, not the guy from the tabloids. Just me. Maya's hands stilled on the counter. And who is that? I'm still figuring it out. Something shifted in her expression. Not quite forgiveness, but maybe understanding. The baseboards in the back hallway are coming loose, she said quietly. Ethan smiled. I'll get right on it. On Saturday afternoon, Maya was walking home with Lila when a car pulled up beside them. An older woman rolled down the window. Sharp eyes, grey hair pulled into a neat bun. Maya's mother. Mama! Maya's voice was wary. What are you doing here? Heard some interesting things about you lately. Mrs. Johnson's gaze swept over her daughter. About you spending time with some rich man from the city. It's not like that. No? Then what's it like? Lila tugged on Maya's hand. That's Ethan. He's nice, Grandma. He helps Mama at the diner. Mrs. Johnson's eyebrows rose. Does he now? Mama, can we talk about this later? Get in, both of you. It wasn't a request. Maya buckled Lila into the back seat and climbed into the passenger side. Her mother drove in silence for a few blocks. Then she pulled over. Tell me about this man. His name is Ethan Pierce. I know who he is. I looked him up. Millionaire. Got left at his wedding. Running from his problems. Mrs. Johnson turned in her seat. What's he doing with my daughter? Nothing, Mama. He's just what? Helping out at the diner, fixing things, getting close to you and Lila. Her mother's voice was sharp. Men like that don't stay, Maya. They take what they want and they leave. You don't know him. And you do. How long has he been here? 2 weeks? 3. 3 weeks and you trust him with my grandbaby. Maya's jaw tightened. I'm being careful. Are you? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you're falling for a man who's going to break your heart the second his real life calls him back. Maybe he's different. They're never different, baby. Mrs. Johnson's voice softened. I know you want to believe in people. I know you want Lila to have a father figure. But stray men bring storms. You know that. Maya looked out the window. Her mother was right. She knew that. But there was something about Ethan. Something genuine in the way he kept showing up, kept trying, kept proving himself even when she pushed him away. I'm not rushing into anything, Maya said finally. I promise. Good. Because I won't stand by and watch you get hurt again. And I definitely won't watch Lila get hurt. Mrs. Johnson drove them home. When Maya and Lila got out, her mother caught Maya's hand. I love you, she said. I just want you to be safe. I know, Mama. I love you too. That evening, Maya made dinner while Lila did homework at the kitchen table. Mama? Yes, baby. Can Ethan come over for dinner? Maya's hand stilled on the knife she was using to chop vegetables. Lila, we talked about this. I know, but I miss him. We haven't seen him in forever. You saw him 3 days ago when we got ice cream. That's forever. Lila's voice was plaintive. Please, Mama, I want to show him my school project. Maya turned around. Her daughter's face was so hopeful, so innocent. Baby, I need you to understand something. Ethan isn't going to stay here forever. He has a life somewhere else, a business, a home. But he could stay, if he wanted to. It's not that simple. Why not? How did you explain adult complications to a 6-year-old? How did you explain that people's worlds didn't just merge together like puzzle pieces, that life was messy and complicated and full of disappointment? Because grown-up stuff is complicated, Maya said finally, and I need to protect you. From what? From getting hurt. Lila frowned. But Ethan wouldn't hurt me. He's nice. I know he is, but sometimes nice people still leave, and when they leave, it hurts. Like Daddy. The word hit Maya like a punch. Lila rarely mentioned her father. He'd left when she was so young she barely remembered him. Yeah, baby. Like Daddy. Lila was quiet for a moment. Then she said, but Ethan's not Daddy. He's different. How do you know? Because Ethan sees me. Daddy didn't see me at all. The wisdom in those words made Maya's throat tight. Her daughter was 6 years old, and she already understood more about abandonment than any child should. You're right, Maya said softly. Ethan does see you. He sees you very clearly. So can he come to dinner? Maya laughed, despite herself. Not tonight, baby. But maybe soon. Lila beamed. Promise? I promise to think about it. That seemed to satisfy her. She went back to her homework, humming softly to herself. Maya returned to chopping vegetables, but her mind was elsewhere. Her mother was right to be cautious. But Lila was right too. Ethan was different. He'd spent a week fixing things at the diner without asking for anything in return. He'd been patient when Maya was cold to him. He'd been kind to Lila without trying to buy her affection. Maybe, just maybe, he was worth the risk. The next day was Sunday. Maya didn't work on Sundays. It was her day with Lila. They went to church in the morning, then usually spent the afternoon doing something fun. Park, library, sometimes the beach if the weather was nice. Today Lila wanted to go to the pier. They walked hand in hand along the wooden planks. Boats bobbed in the water, seagulls circled overhead, hoping for dropped French fries. The sun was warm on Maya's shoulders. "Mama, look!" Lila pointed. Ethan was sitting on a bench, sketching in a notebook. He looked relaxed, at peace. His hair was messy from the wind. "Can we say hi?" Lila tugged on Maya's hand. Maya hesitated, then nodded. "Okay, but just for a minute." Lila ran ahead. "Ethan!" He looked up, startled. Then his face broke into a genuine smile. "Hey, Lila, what are you doing here?" "Walking with Mama." "What are you doing?" "Drawing." "Well, trying to draw. I'm not very good." "Can I see?" He turned the notebook around. It was a sketch of the harbor. Rough lines, uneven perspective, but there was something sweet about it. An honest attempt. "That's pretty," Lila said diplomatically. "You're very kind, but it's terrible. Maybe you just need practice." "Maybe." Maya approached slowly. "Hi." "Hi." Ethan stood up. "I didn't know you came to the pier on Sundays." "We don't usually. Lila wanted to come today." They stood there awkwardly for a moment. Then Lila grabbed Ethan's hand and Maya's hand. "Let's walk together." Before either adult could protest, she was pulling them along the pier, chattering about school, about her friend Emma, who had lost another tooth, about the book she was reading. Ethan listened like everything she said was important. He asked questions, made jokes that sent her into giggles. He was good with her, natural. Maya watched them together and felt her carefully constructed walls cracking. When they reached the end of the pier, Lila ran ahead to look at a boat. "She's amazing," Ethan said quietly. "I know. You've done an incredible job raising her." "Thank you." He turned to face Maya. "I know you don't trust me yet. I know I have to earn that. But I want you to know, I'm not going anywhere. Not unless you tell me to. You don't know that. Your life is in Boston. Your business can be managed remotely. I've been doing it for 3 weeks. He paused. "I thought I came here to hide, but maybe I came here to find something instead." "What?" "I don't know yet, but it feels important." Maya's heart beat faster. This was dangerous territory. Hope was dangerous. But standing here with the sun warming her skin and her daughter laughing nearby and this man looking at her like she was something precious, it was hard not to hope. "My mama came to see me yesterday," she said. "Yeah?" "She warned me about you. Said you'd leave." "What did you say?" "I said I was being careful." "Are you? Being careful?" Maya looked at him, really looked at him. His eyes were kind, honest, vulnerable, not careful enough, probably. Ethan smiled, slow and genuine. "Good." And that week something shifted between them. Ethan kept coming to the diner, but now Maya saved him a seat at the counter during her breaks. They talked. Small things at first, favorite movies, childhood memories, the weather, then deeper things. Maya told him about Lila's father, how he'd left without warning, how she'd struggled those first few years, working double shifts, barely making rent. Ethan told her about the pressure of running a company his father had built, the expectations, the loneliness of always being Ethan Pierce, CEO, and never just Ethan. "That's why Chloe's betrayal hurt so much," he said one morning. "The diner was empty, except for them. I thought she loved me, the real me, but she just loved the idea of being Mrs. Ethan Pierce." "How do you know the difference," Maya asked, "between someone loving you and someone loving what you represent?" "I guess you don't. Not for sure. But there are signs. Little things." He paused. "Like someone who doesn't care that you're terrible at fixing cars, or someone who lets you fix their diner, even though they don't really need the help. Someone who sees past the money and the status and just sees you." Their eyes met across the counter. "Mama!" Lila burst through the kitchen doors, waving a piece of paper. "Look what I made at school." The moment broke. Maya turned to her daughter. "What is it, baby?" "A picture for my family tree project." She held up the paper proudly. It was a drawing of 3 people, a woman with curly hair, a little girl, and a tall man. "That's you, Mama. And that's me. And that's Ethan." Maya's breath caught. "Baby, Ethan's not—" "I know he's not my daddy, but Miss Carter said we could draw the people who feel like family, and Ethan feels like family." Ethan's eyes were suspiciously bright. He cleared his throat. That's a really good drawing, Lila. You made me very tall." "That's because you are tall. Can I keep this?" Lila looked at her mother. Maya nodded, not trusting her voice. "Okay." Lila handed him the picture carefully. "Don't fold it." "I won't. I promise. I'll keep it safe." He tucked the drawing carefully into his notebook. Maya watched her daughter beam with pride. Watch this man, this kind, gentle man, treat her child's artwork like it was precious, and she realized she wasn't being careful at all. She was falling in love with him. "There's a fair this weekend," Ethan said a few days later. "I saw posters all over town. Maya was refilling salt shakers. Yeah, it's a big deal around here. Rides, games, food trucks. The whole town shows up. Would you?" He hesitated. "Would you and Lila want to go? With me? Like a date? If you want it to be. Or just as friends. Whatever you're comfortable with." Maya bit her lip. A date. An actual date. With Ethan. In public. Where everyone would see them together. Her mother's warnings echoed in her mind, but so did her own heart. "Okay," she said. "Yes, we'll go." Ethan's face lit up. "Really? Really? But you're buying the funnel cake." "Deal." Saturday arrived sunny and warm. The fairground was on the edge of town. Colorful tents and rides filled an open field. Music blared from speakers. The smell of fried food and cotton candy filled the air. Lila practically vibrated with excitement. "Can we go on the Ferris wheel and the swings and get popcorn?" "Slow down, baby." Maya laughed. "We have all afternoon." Ethan bought them tickets. They started with the easy rides. The carousel where Lila chose a purple horse and waved every time she passed. The funhouse with its silly mirrors. The swings that lifted them high into the air while Lila shrieked with delight. They played games at the booths. Ethan was terrible at throwing rings. Maya was surprisingly good at the basketball toss. She won a stuffed bear and gave it to Lila. "This is the best day ever," Lila announced, clutching her bear. They got funnel cake and found a picnic table to sit. Powdered sugar dusted Lila's face. She chattered happily about which ride to go on next. Maya caught Ethan watching them with soft eyes. "What?" she asked. "Nothing. Just, this is nice. Being here with you two." "It is nice," Maya agreed. Their hands were resting on the table. Close but not touching. Ethan moved his pinky finger slightly. It brushed against hers. Maya didn't pull away. They linked their pinky fingers together. A small gesture, but it felt huge. "Maya!" "Ethan Pierce!" A woman's voice. Sharp, familiar to Ethan. He froze. His face went pale. Maya turned. A woman stood behind them. Tall, glamorous, perfect blonde hair. Designer clothes that cost more than Maya's monthly rent. Her smile was cold. "Hello, Ethan," she said. "Fancy seeing you here." Ethan pulled his hand away from Maya's. He stood up slowly. "Chloe." Maya's stomach dropped. This was her, the woman who'd left him at the altar, the ex-fiancée. And she was looking at Maya like she was something unpleasant she'd found on the bottom of her shoe. "Aren't you going to introduce me?" Chloe's eyes swept over Maya, over Lila. Her smile sharpened. "Or is this not an introducing kind of situation?" Maya stood up too. She put a protective hand on Lila's shoulder. Ethan's jaw was tight. "What are you doing here, Chloe?" "Looking for you. Your mother was worried. She hired someone to find you." Chloe tilted her head. "Honestly, Ethan, a small coastal town, it's very unquaint. You need to leave. We need to talk. There's nothing to talk about." "Really? Because I think there's quite a lot to discuss." She glanced at Maya again. "Privately." "No." Ethan's voice was firm. "Whatever you have to say, you can say in front of Maya or not at all." Something flickered in Chloe's expression. Surprise, maybe respect, but it was gone quickly. "Fine. I made a mistake, Ethan. I panicked. Wedding jitters. But I've had time to think. We belong together. You know that." "No, we don't." "You can't mean that." "I absolutely mean that. You humiliated me. You left me standing at that altar in front of everyone I know. You broke my trust. And you ran away like a coward," Chloe shot back. Her mask cracked slightly. "You think hiding out in this nowhere town with," she gestured at Maya, "with her is going to fix anything?" Maya's blood went cold. But before she could say anything, Ethan stepped between them. "Don't." His voice was low. "Dangerous. Don't you dare talk about her that way. Oh, please, she's a single mother working at a diner. You think she actually cares about you? Or does she care about what you can give her?" "That's enough." Maya's voice cut through the tension. She stood up, pulling Lila close. "Come on, baby, we're leaving." "Maya, wait." Ethan reached for her. "Don't." She looked at him, really looked at him. "This is your mess, Ethan. You deal with it." She took Lila's hand and walked away, her spine straight, her head high. Behind her, she heard Chloe's voice. "See? She's not worth it, Ethan. Come back to Boston with me. We can fix this." And Ethan's response, loud enough for half the fair to hear, "No, Chloe, we're done. We were done the moment you walked out of that church. And if you think I'm going to let you insult Maya, you're out of your mind. She's worth 10 of you. Maya's steps faltered, but she didn't turn around. She kept walking, holding her daughter's hand, fighting back tears. Behind her, she heard Chloe's angry shout, then Ethan calling her name. But she didn't stop. She couldn't, because her mother was right. Stray men did bring storms, and Maya had walked right into this one with her eyes wide open. Maya didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to Lila's soft breathing from the other room, replaying the scene at the fair over and over in her head. Chloe's cold smile, her cutting words. She's a single mother working at a diner, as if that made Maya less, as if that made her unworthy. But worse than Chloe's cruelty was the look on Ethan's face, the shock, the shame, like he'd been caught doing something wrong. Was she wrong? Was being with her something to be ashamed of? Maya rolled over and buried her face in her pillow. She'd known this would happen. She'd known getting involved with Ethan was a mistake. Men from his world didn't stay with women from hers. They played at being normal for a while. Then reality came calling and they went back where they belonged. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. She ignored it. It had been buzzing all evening. Texts from Ethan, calls she didn't answer. Finally, around midnight, she picked it up and read the messages. Maya, please, let me explain. I'm so sorry about what happened. She had no right to speak to you that way. I told her to leave. She's gone. Please talk to me. I need to know you're okay. Maya's finger hovered over the keyboard. She wanted to respond, wanted to hear his voice, wanted him to make this better somehow, but she didn't know how he could. She set the phone down and closed her eyes. Sunday morning came too soon. Lila crawled into bed with Maya at dawn. Mama, are you sad? No, baby. Just tired. Because of yesterday? Because of that mean lady? Maya pulled her daughter close. A little bit. She was really mean. She said bad things about us. I know. But Ethan was nice. He told her to stop. Maya's throat tightened. Yeah, he did. So why are you sad? How did you explain adult heartbreak to a 6-year-old? How did you explain that sometimes being right wasn't enough? That sometimes love wasn't enough? Sometimes things are complicated, baby. Is Ethan going to go away? I don't know. Lila was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I hope he doesn't. I like him. I know you do. Do you like him, Mama? Maya kissed the top of her daughter's head. Yeah, I do. Then why can't we keep him? Because life doesn't work that way, Maya wanted to say. Because people leave. Because his world and ours don't fit together. But instead she just said, it's complicated. Monday morning, Maya went to work. She expected Ethan to be there, expected him to corner her, try to talk, try to fix things. But he wasn't there. The diner felt empty without him. The door he'd fixed swung smoothly. The table he'd leveled sat solid. Everything he'd repaired was still working perfectly. But he was gone. You okay? Her co-worker asked. You seem distracted. I'm fine. But she wasn't fine. She kept looking at the door, expecting him to walk in, kept listening for his voice, kept reaching for the coffee pot to pour him a cup he wasn't there to drink. By Tuesday, she was angry. So much for not going anywhere. So much for proving he was different. At the first sign of trouble, he'd vanished, just like everyone else. Her mother was right. Stray men brought storms, and then they left you to clean up the mess. On Wednesday, the photos appeared. Maya was at the diner when a customer showed her phone across the counter. Isn't this you? Maya's blood went cold. It was a photo from the fair, her and Ethan sitting at the picnic table, their hands almost touching. Lila between them, covered in powdered sugar, laughing. The headline read, Millionaire CEO's new love small-town single mom. Oh God, Maya whispered. She grabbed the phone and scrolled. There were more photos. Ethan and Lila on the carousel, Maya and Ethan on the swings, all of them looking happy, looking like a family. The article was worse. It called her a gold digger, said she was taking advantage of Ethan's vulnerable state, suggested she was using her daughter to trap him. The words blurred together. Maya's hands shook. I need to go, she told her co-worker. I have to go. I'll cover for you. Maya grabbed her purse and ran out. She made it to her car before the tears came. Hot, angry, humiliated tears. Everyone would see this. The whole town, her neighbors, Lila's teachers, her mother. Everyone would think she was using Ethan, think she was some kind of opportunist trying to trap a rich man. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered without thinking. Hello? Is this Maya Johnson? A woman's voice, professional, cold. Who is this? I'm a reporter. I'd like to ask you a few questions about your relationship with Ethan Pierce. Maya hung up. The phone rang again immediately. Different number. She turned it off and drove home, her heart pounding. Lila was at school. Maya sat alone in her apartment, staring at the walls. Her phone, still turned off, sat on the coffee table like a bomb. A knock at the door made her jump. She looked through the peephole. Her mother stood on the doorstep, arms crossed, face stern. Maya opened the door. "I saw the pictures," Mrs. Johnson said. She walked in without being invited. "The whole town's talking about it." "I know. They're saying terrible things, Maya. Calling you names. Saying you're—" "I know, Mama." Maya's voice broke. "I know what they're saying. I was there when it was written." Her mother's expression softened. "Baby, you were right, okay? You were right. I should have stayed away from him. I should have protected myself and Lila, but I didn't. I let him in, I let myself hope. And now look what happened." "What did Ethan say about all this?" "Nothing. He disappeared. Haven't seen him since Saturday." Mrs. Johnson's eyebrows rose. "He left?" "Apparently." Maya sank onto the couch. "So you were right about that too. He left the second things got difficult." Her mother sat beside her. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Maya, I need to tell you something." "What?" "I was wrong." Maya looked at her in surprise. "What?" "I said stray men bring storms. I said he would leave. I told you to protect yourself." Mrs. Johnson took her daughter's hand. "But baby, sometimes love is worth the storm. Sometimes you have to risk getting hurt to find something real." "But he left, Mama." "Did he? Or are you assuming he left because that's what you expect? I haven't seen him in 4 days." "Have you tried to see him? Have you answered his calls?" Maya looked away. "No." "So how do you know he left? How do you know he's not waiting for you to give him a chance to explain?" "Because that's what people do. They leave. Some people do, but not all people. And maybe, just maybe, Ethan is one of the ones who stays." Her mother squeezed her hand. "Don't run from love because of fear, Maya. Don't let your past steal your future." "But the things they're saying don't matter. The only things that matter are what's in your heart and what's in his. The rest is just noise." Maya felt tears welling up again. "I'm scared, Mama." "I know, baby. Love is scary, but it's also beautiful. And from what I saw, that man looks at you like you hung the moon. He looks at Lila like she's already his daughter. That's not a man who's planning to leave. That's a man who's planning to stay." "How do you know?" "Because I saw him yesterday, at the grocery store. He looked like hell. Hadn't shaved. Looked like he hadn't slept in days. He was buying flowers. A whole cart full of flowers. And when I asked him what they were for, he said, 'For Maya, when she's ready to talk to me.'" Mrs. Johnson smiled. "That's not a man who's given up. That's a man who's fighting for you." Maya's breath caught. "He bought flowers. A whole cart full. Probably cleaned out every flower shop within 50 miles. I pushed him away, Mama. After the fair. I walked away and I wouldn't answer his calls. What if he thinks I don't want him anymore?" "Then you need to tell him the truth. You need to tell him you're scared, that you're hurt, but that you still want him." Her mother stood up. "Stop running from love, baby. Start running toward it." Maya drove to Ethan's cabin, her heart hammered in her chest. Her palms were sweaty on the steering wheel. What would she say? How did you apologize for shutting someone out? How did you admit you were wrong and scared and stupid all at the same time? She pulled up to the cabin. His car was there. Lights were on inside. She sat in her car for a full minute, gathering courage. Then she got out and walked to the door. She knocked. Footsteps inside. The door opened. Ethan stood there. Her mother was right. He looked terrible, unshaven, dark circles under his eyes, hair a mess. But when he saw her, his whole face changed. "Maya, hi." They stared at each other. "I'm sorry," they both said at the same time. Then they both laughed. Awkward, nervous laughter. "Can I come in?" Maya asked. "Of course. Yes, please." She stepped inside. The cabin was neat but lived in. A laptop sat open on the coffee table, surrounded by papers. And flowers. So many flowers. They filled vases on every surface. The whole place smelled like a garden. "You really did buy a lot of flowers," Maya said. "I didn't know what kind you liked, so I got all of them." He ran a hand through his hair. "I was going to bring them to you, but I didn't know if you wanted to see me. I didn't answer your calls." "I know. I was scared." "I know that too." Maya turned to face him. "Those pictures, those articles, the things they said about me, were lies. Complete lies. And I'm going to make sure everyone knows it." "How?" "I'm calling a press conference today in town. I'm going to tell everyone the truth, that you're not a gold digger, that you're not using me, that you're the kindest, strongest, most amazing woman I've ever met, and that I'm lucky you even give me the time of day." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "Ethan, I should have done it sooner. I should have defended you publicly the second those articles came out. But I was trying to figure out the right way to do it, the right words, the right—" He stopped, took a breath. "But there is no right way, there's just the truth, and the truth is that I love you." The words hung in the air between them. "You love me?" "Yes, I love you. I love your strength. I love how you protect Lila like a lioness. I love how you've built this beautiful life with your own 2 hands. I love how you don't take crap from anyone, including me." He stepped closer. "I love you, Maya, and I don't care what the tabloids say. I don't care what society thinks. I only care about you and Lila. You're my family now, if you'll have me." Maya couldn't speak. Tears streamed down her face. "You don't have to say anything," Ethan said quickly. "I know I've put you through hell. I know my past crashed into your life like a wrecking ball. I know I have a lot to prove still, but I'm not leaving. I'm not going back to Boston. I'm not running away. I'm staying right here, for as long as you want me." "I love you too," Maya whispered. Ethan froze. "What?" "I love you too. I was just too scared to admit it. Too scared of getting hurt. Too scared of you leaving." She wiped her eyes. "But my mama told me something. She said not to run from love because of fear, not to let my past steal my future, and she's right. You're my future, Ethan. If you want to be, I want to be. More than anything." He pulled her into his arms. She melted against him, breathing him in. He smelled like coffee and soap and home. They stood there for a long time, just holding each other. Finally, Maya pulled back. "You're really calling a press conference?" "Yes. In an hour. In the town square. I've already contacted the local news. And the Boston papers. They'll all be there." "What are you going to say?" "The truth. That I came here broken and you put me back together. That Lila showed me what family really means. That you both changed my life." He cupped her face in his hands. "That I'm not ashamed of loving you. I'm proud of it." Maya's heart swelled. "Can I be there? At the press conference?" "I was hoping you would be." An hour later, the town square was packed. News vans lined the street. Reporters with cameras and microphones crowded around a small platform. Townspeople gathered in clusters, whispering and pointing. Maya stood at the back, holding Lila's hand. Her mother stood beside her, protective and proud. Ethan walked onto the platform. He looked different than he had at the cabin. He'd shaved, put on a clean shirt, but his eyes were the same, determined and clear. The cameras flashed. "Thank you all for coming," Ethan said. His voice was strong, steady. "I know there's been a lot of speculation about why I'm here, about my relationship with Maya Johnson, so I'm here to set the record straight." The crowd went silent. 3 weeks ago, I came to this town, humiliated and heartbroken. I'd been left at my wedding in front of hundreds of people. I was running from my life, from my past, from everything I thought I knew. He paused. But what I thought would be hiding turned into something else. It turned into healing. Maya's throat tightened. Maya Johnson didn't know who I was when we met. She didn't care about my money or my status. She saw me as just a guy who couldn't fix a car, just a guy who needed help. He smiled. She didn't make it easy for me. When she found out who I really was, she called me out. She protected her daughter. She set boundaries. She made me prove I was worth her time. A few people in the crowd laughed softly. And in doing that, she showed me what real love looks like. Not the shallow, transactional relationship I had before, but real love, the kind that's built on trust and honesty and showing up every single day. He looked directly at where Maya was standing. Their eyes met across the crowd. "The tabloids called Maya a gold digger. They said she was using me. That's a lie. The truth is I'm the one who's been blessed. Maya works 2 jobs to support her daughter. She's never asked me for a single thing. She's strong and independent and doesn't need me. But I need her. I need her kindness, her wisdom, her courage. I need her to remind me what really matters in life." Cameras flashed frantically. "And her daughter, Lila, is the most amazing kid I've ever met. She's smart and funny, and she sees the world with such hope and joy. She deserves a father who will show up for her, who will protect her, who will love her unconditionally. And if Maya will let me, I want to be that person." Maya's vision blurred with tears. "So no, I'm not ashamed of loving Maya. I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be part of her life, part of Lila's life, and I don't care what anyone says about it. I don't need the world's approval. I just need theirs." He stepped back from the microphone. The reporters erupted with questions, but Ethan ignored them. He walked off the platform and straight through the crowd, straight to Maya. People moved aside, creating a path. Cameras followed him, but he didn't care. He only had eyes for her. When he reached her, he knelt down, right there in the middle of the crowd, in front of everyone. "Maya Johnson," he said. His voice was quiet now, just for her. "I know this is fast. I know we've only known each other for 3 weeks, but I also know that I want to spend the rest of my life making you happy, making Lila happy, building a family with you. If you'll have me." He pulled a small box from his pocket. Maya gasped. Inside was a ring. Simple, elegant, nothing flashy or ostentatious, just a single diamond on a gold band. "Will you marry me?" The whole town seemed to hold its breath. Lila squeezed Maya's hand. "Say yes, Mama." Maya laughed through her tears. She looked at Ethan kneeling in front of her, this man who had crashed into her life like a storm, this man who had proven himself day after day, this man who loved her daughter like she was his own, this man who was her future. "Yes," she whispered, then louder, "Yes." Ethan stood up and slid the ring onto her finger. Then he kissed her, right there in front of the cameras and the reporters and the whole town. The crowd erupted in cheers. Lila jumped up and down, screaming with joy. Mrs. Johnson wiped tears from her eyes, smiling. When Ethan and Maya finally pulled apart, Lila threw herself at them both. Ethan scooped her up, lifting her high. She wrapped her arms around both their necks, creating a 3-person hug. "Are you going to be my daddy now?" Lila asked. Ethan looked at Maya. She nodded. "If you want me to be," Ethan said. "I want you to be." "Then yes, I'm going to be your daddy, for real, forever." Lila cheered again. The reporters were still shouting questions, but Maya didn't hear them. All she heard was her daughter's laughter, Ethan's heartbeat against her ear, the sound of her own joy bubbling up from somewhere deep inside. Mrs. Johnson approached them. She looked at Ethan seriously. "You hurt my daughter, or my grandbaby, and you'll answer to me. Understood?" "Yes, ma'am." "Good." Then she smiled, warm and genuine. "Welcome to the family, son." That evening they walked along the pier together, just the 3 of them. No cameras, no crowds, just family. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink and gold. Seagulls called overhead. Waves lapped against the dock. Lila ran ahead, chasing a crab that scuttled across the wood. Ethan and Maya walked hand in hand, their fingers intertwined. "I can't believe this is real," Maya said softly. "It's real, I promise. What about your company? Your life in Boston? I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll open a satellite office here. Maybe I'll hire someone else to run the day-to-day operations. Maybe I'll sell the whole thing and do something completely different." He squeezed her hand. "I don't care, as long as I'm with you. That's a big sacrifice." "It's not a sacrifice. It's a choice. The easiest choice I've ever made." They stopped at the end of the pier. Lila ran back to them, breathless and happy. "Can we stay here forever?" she asked. "Yes," Ethan said. "Forever." He looked at Maya. She smiled. Forever sounded perfect. 2 weeks later, they were at Ethan's cabin. Papers were spread across the coffee table. Wedding plans, legal documents, work contracts. Ethan was selling his company to his business partner, keeping a small stake, but stepping away from day-to-day operations. "You're sure about this?" Maya asked for the 100th time. "I've never been more sure of anything." Lila was in the bedroom, video chatting with her grandmother. Her excited voice carried through the walls. Maya picked up one of the documents. It was a deed to the cabin and the land around it. "What's this?" "I bought it. The cabin. I thought—" He looked suddenly nervous. "I thought maybe we could live here, together, all 3 of us. There's enough room to add on. Build Lila a proper bedroom, maybe an office for you, whatever you want." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "You want to live here? In this town? Permanently?" "Yes. This is home now. Your home." She set the deed down carefully. Then she kissed him, soft and sweet and full of promise. "I love you," she whispered against his lips. "I love you too." A knock at the door interrupted them. Maya answered it. A delivery man stood there with a huge bouquet of flowers. "For Maya Johnson?" "That's me." He handed her the bouquet and left. Maya carried the flowers inside, confused. "Did you order these?" "No. There's a card." She opened it, read the message. Her face paled. "What is it?" Ethan stood up, concerned. "It's from Chloe." Maya's voice was tight. "She says she's happy for us, that she hopes we'll be very happy together, and that she's engaged now too. Good for her. There's more." Maya kept reading. She says she's sorry for what she said at the fair, for how she treated me, She says it was petty and cruel and I didn't deserve it. Ethan took the card and read it himself. His eyebrows rose. Well, that's unexpected. Do you think she means it? Maybe. Maybe getting left at the altar taught her something about humility. He set the card aside. Or maybe she just wants to look good. Either way, it doesn't matter. She's in my past. You're my future. Maya smiled. Our future. Our future, he agreed. Lila came running out of the bedroom. Grandma wants to talk to you, Mama. She has ideas about the wedding cake. Maya laughed. Of course she does. She went to talk to her mother. Ethan watched her go, then looked at Lila. Hey, kiddo. Can I ask you something? Sure. Are you happy? About me and your mom getting married? Are you kidding? I'm super happy. I drew pictures about it at school and everything. Good. I'm happy too. He paused. And I want you to know something important. I'm not trying to replace your dad. I know he's out there somewhere. And if you ever want to talk about him or if you ever want to find him, I'll help you. Okay? Lila thought about this seriously. Then she said, I don't remember him. Not really. Mama says he left when I was a baby. I know. But you didn't leave. Even when things got hard. Even when that mean lady showed up. You stayed. I'll always stay, Lila. I promise. She smiled. Then she hugged him tight. I'm glad you crashed into us at the grocery store. Ethan laughed. Me too. The wedding was small. Just close friends and family. They held it on the beach at sunset. Maya wore a simple white dress. Lila was the flower girl, wearing purple to match her favorite color. Mrs. Johnson cried through the whole ceremony. Ethan's mother came from Boston. She was elegant and proper, but when she met Maya, she embraced her warmly. Thank you, she whispered in Maya's ear. Thank you for bringing my son back to life. The ceremony was short and sweet. Ethan's voice shook when he said his vows. Maya cried happy tears. Lila stood between them, holding both their hands. When the officiant said, You may kiss the bride, Lila cheered louder than anyone. They walked down the beach together as the sun set behind them. Husband and wife, father and daughter, family. At the reception, held at the diner where they'd first really met, people danced and laughed and celebrated. Maya's co-workers had decorated with string lights and flowers. The whole town had contributed food. It was perfect. During the first dance, Ethan held Maya close. Happy? He asked. So happy I could burst. Good, because I plan to make you this happy every single day for the rest of our lives. That's a big promise. I'm good at keeping promises. She rested her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. Steady and strong and real. Lila danced with her grandmother nearby. Other couples swayed to the music. The whole scene was warm and joyful and full of love. This was what mattered. Not money or status or society's approval. Just this. Family. Love. Home. Maya looked up at her husband, and smiled. I love you, Ethan Pierce. I love you too, Maya Pierce. They kissed as the music swelled around them, and outside the ocean waves crashed against the shore, constant and eternal, like the love they'd found together. The end of one story, the beginning of another forever. 3 months after the wedding, Maya woke up to the smell of pancakes. She stretched in bed, smiling. Sunlight filtered through the curtains of their bedroom, the master bedroom they'd added to the cabin during renovations. The house was bigger now. Lila had her own room painted purple with stars on the ceiling. There was an office for Maya, where she could do the bookkeeping for the diner, and a workshop for Ethan where he tinkered with projects. Voices drifted from the kitchen. Lila's laugh, Ethan's deeper rumble. Maya got up and padded down the hall in her slippers. The kitchen was chaos. Flour dusted every surface. A mixing bowl sat in the sink, but at the stove Ethan stood with Lila perched on a stool beside him, both of them focused intently on the griddle. Now you flip it, Ethan said. Quick motion. Like this. He demonstrated. The pancake sailed through the air and landed perfectly back in the pan. My turn. Lila grabbed the spatula. Careful. Wait for the bubbles to... Lila flipped. The pancake folded in half and landed with a splat. Oops. That's okay. It'll still taste good. Ethan ruffled her hair. We'll call it a taco pancake. Lila giggled. Maya leaned against the doorframe, watching them. Her heart felt full. So full it almost hurt. Ethan looked up and saw her. His face lit up. Good morning, beautiful. Good morning. She walked over and kissed him. What's all this? Daddy's teaching me to make pancakes, Lila announced proudly. Daddy! The word still made Maya's eyes misty. Lila had started calling Ethan that about a month ago. Tentatively at first. Testing it out. But Ethan had responded with such joy, such immediate acceptance, that it had stuck. Now it was natural, easy, like he'd always been her daddy. "I can see that," Maya said. "How's it going?" "We've made 12 perfect pancakes," Ethan said. "And 6 taco pancakes," Lila added. "Those count too. Plus we burned 3. We don't talk about those." Maya laughed and poured herself coffee. She sat at the kitchen table, the one Ethan had built with his own hands, and watched her family cook breakfast. Her family. Sometimes she still couldn't believe this was her life. After breakfast, Lila went outside to play in the yard. They'd fenced it in and added a swing set. She spent hours out there digging in her sandbox, pushing herself on the swings, making up elaborate games with her stuffed animals. Ethan and Maya cleaned the kitchen together. He washed, she dried. A simple routine, but it felt sacred somehow. These small domestic moments, these quiet pieces of life they built together. "I got a call yesterday," Ethan said casually, "from the Boston office." Maya's hands stilled on the dish she was drying. "Oh? They want me to come up for a board meeting next month, just for a day. Are you going to go?" "I don't know. I told them I'd think about it." He rinsed a plate and handed it to her. "Would you come with me?" "You and Lila? To Boston?" "Yeah. I thought maybe we could make a weekend of it. Show you the city. Let Lila see where I used to live, then I can do the meeting and we can come home." Home. This little coastal town was home now. Not Boston. Not the penthouse apartment Ethan had sold. Not the life he'd left behind. "I'd like that," Maya said. "But are you sure? Going back there? Won't it be hard?" "Maybe. But I won't be alone. I'll have you." He set down the sponge and pulled her close. "Besides, I want to show you off. I want everyone to meet my beautiful wife. Your beautiful wife who works at a diner. My beautiful wife who runs a diner. There's a difference." He was right. Last month, the owner had offered to sell the diner to Maya. She'd accepted. It was a risk, a big one. But Ethan had helped her crunch the numbers and write a business plan. Now she was an owner, not just an employee. "Okay," Maya said. "Let's go to Boston. As a family." "As a family," Ethan echoed. He kissed her forehead. "Have I told you today how much I love you?" "Only 3 times. Not enough then." That afternoon, Maya's mother came to visit. She'd been coming around more often lately. At first, she'd been cautious, watchful, making sure Ethan was really committed, really staying. But as the weeks turned into months, she'd relaxed. Now she doted on both Ethan and Lila, treating Ethan like the son she'd never had. "Where's my grandbaby?" Mrs. Johnson called as she walked in. "Outside?" Lila's voice came from the yard. Mrs. Johnson went out to join her. Through the window, Maya watched her mother push Lila on the swing, both of them laughing. "Your mom's good with her," Ethan said. He was working on his laptop at the table. Business emails. Even though he'd stepped back from daily operations, he still consulted occasionally. "She is. She helped raise Lila while I was working. I couldn't have done it without her. You're both strong women. We had to be." Ethan closed his laptop and looked at her. "Can I ask you something?" "Always." "Do you ever think about Lila's biological father? Wonder where he is?" Maya sat down across from him. It was a question she'd been expecting, dreading a little, but also ready for. "Sometimes," she admitted, "especially when Lila asks about him. But mostly, no. He made his choice. He walked away, and I can't spend my life wondering about someone who didn't want to be here." "Does Lila ask about him?" "Not much anymore. Not since you came into our lives." Maya reached across the table and took his hand. "You're her father now, Ethan, in every way that matters. You show up. You love her. You protect her. That's what makes a dad, not biology." "I want to adopt her," Ethan said suddenly. "Officially, legally, if you'll let me. If she wants me to." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "Really, really, I want her to be mine, on paper, in the eyes of the law. I want her to know she's my daughter forever, that I'm not going anywhere. She'd love that so much." "Then let's do it. We can start the paperwork, talk to a lawyer, make it official." Maya stood up and moved around the table. She sat in his lap and wrapped her arms around his neck. "You're a good man, Ethan Pierce. I try to be, for you two." They sat there for a while, holding each other. Outside, Lila's laughter rang out. Mrs. Johnson was probably spoiling her with promises of cookies and ice cream. This was peace, Maya thought. This was what she'd been searching for her whole life without even knowing it. This was home. A week later, they drove to Lila's school for parent-teacher conferences. Ethan held Maya's hand as they walked down the hallway. Colorful artwork lined the walls. Small desks filled the classrooms. The smell of crayons and glue filled the air. Miss Carter, Lila's teacher, greeted them warmly. "Mr. and Mrs. Pierce, so good to see you both." They sat in tiny chairs designed for 6-year-olds. Ethan's knees practically touched his chest. Maya had to bite back a laugh. "Lila is doing wonderfully," Miss Carter said. She pulled out a folder of work. "Her reading has improved dramatically this year. Her math skills are strong, and socially she's blossomed." "That's great to hear," Maya said. "I wanted to mention something in particular." Miss Carter smiled. A few months ago, Lila was quiet, reserved. She didn't share much about her home life, but lately she talks about her family all the time. "About you, Mrs. Pierce, and especially about you, Mr. Pierce." Ethan shifted in his tiny chair. "Good things, I hope. Very good things. She talks about how you help her with homework, how you built her a swing set, how you make funny voices when you read bedtime stories." Miss Carter's eyes were kind. "Whatever you're doing, it's working. Lila is a different child, confident, happy, secure." Maya squeezed Ethan's hand. "She asked me to show you something," Miss Carter continued. She pulled out a piece of paper. "She wrote this last week, for our My Family unit." She handed them the paper. In Lila's careful handwriting it read, "My name is Lila Johnson Pierce. I live with my mama and my daddy. My daddy came to us like a present. He was sad at first, but now he is happy. He makes my mama smile. He reads me stories. He is teaching me to ride a bike. I love my family." The end. Maya's vision blurred with tears. Ethan's voice was thick when he spoke. "Can we keep this?" "Of course." I made a copy for her portfolio. They thanked Miss Carter and left. In the hallway, Maya pressed her face against Ethan's chest and cried. Happy tears, grateful tears, overwhelmed tears. "I'm okay," she said when she could speak. I'm so happy." "Me too," Ethan whispered. "Me too." The Boston trip came faster than Maya expected. They drove up on a Friday. Lila bounced in the back seat, excited about the city. She'd never been to Boston before, never seen buildings so tall they touched the sky, never experienced the noise and rush of city life. Ethan had booked them a hotel near the harbor, nothing too fancy. He'd learned that Maya wasn't comfortable with excessive luxury, just a clean, comfortable family suite with 2 bedrooms and a view of the water. That evening they walked around the city. Ethan pointed out landmarks. The place where he went to college, his favorite restaurant, the park where he used to jog. "This was your life," Maya said, looking around at the bustling streets. "It was, but it feels like a lifetime ago. Do you miss it?" "Not even a little bit." They ate dinner at a small Italian place Ethan loved. Lila got spaghetti and wore more sauce than she ate. Ethan and Maya shared a pizza and talked about nothing and everything. On the walk back to the hotel, Lila fell asleep on Ethan's shoulders. He carried her easily, her small body draped over him like a rag doll. "She's gotten heavy," Maya said. "She's perfect," Ethan countered. Back at the hotel, they tucked Lila into bed. Maya sat beside her for a moment, smoothing her hair back, watching her sleep. "What are you thinking?" Ethan asked. "I'm thinking about how different our lives are now. A year ago, I was barely making ends meet. I was exhausted all the time. I was scared about Lila's future. And now," she looked up at him, "now I have everything. So do I." They went to their own room, lay together in the dark. The city lights filtered through the curtains. "Are you nervous about tomorrow?" Maya asked. "The board meeting?" "A little. I haven't seen most of these people since the wedding that wasn't. Do you think they'll judge you?" "Probably, but I don't care. Let them judge. I know what I have. I know what matters. You're not the same person who ran away from that church." "No, I'm not. I'm better now, because of you." "We made each other better," Maya said. "That's how it works." The board meeting was at 10. Maya and Lila explored the city while Ethan worked. They visited the aquarium, walked through a park, got ice cream even though it was barely lunchtime. "Do you like Boston?" Maya asked her daughter. Lila thought about it. "It's loud, and there are so many people, and the buildings are really, really tall. But do you like it?" "It's okay for visiting, but I like home better." "Me too, baby. Me too." They met Ethan for lunch at a cafe near his office building. He looked tired, stressed, but when he saw them, his whole face relaxed. "How'd it go?" Maya asked. "Long, boring, necessary." He picked up Lila and kissed her cheek. "But I kept thinking about you too. That made it bearable." "Are they mad you left?" Lila asked. "Some of them, but others understand, and the ones who don't understand, well, that's their problem." They ate lunch together. Ethan's phone kept buzzing with messages, but he ignored it. He was present, focused on them. That evening there was a dinner, a business dinner Ethan was expected to attend. He told Maya she didn't have to come, but she'd insisted. "I'm your wife," she'd said. "Where you go, I go." So they dressed up. Maya wore a simple navy dress she'd bought for the occasion. Ethan wore a suit. Lila stayed at the hotel with a babysitter, watching cartoons and eating room service. The restaurant was the kind of place where Maya would never have been comfortable before. Chandeliers, white tablecloths, waiters in tuxedos. Prices so high they didn't list them on the menu. But she held her head high. She was Mrs. Pierce now. She belonged anywhere Ethan did. The other board members stared when they arrived. Ethan introduced her proudly. "This is my wife, Maya." She shook hands, made polite conversation, answered their carefully worded questions about how she and Ethan met. One older woman, the CFO, pulled Maya aside before dinner. "You're not what I expected," she said bluntly. "What did you expect?" "Another Chloe. Someone shallow. Someone interested in Ethan's money." Maya bristled. "I'm not interested in his money. I'm interested in him. I can see that. The way you look at him. The way he looks at you." The woman smiled. "He's different now. Lighter. Happier. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. That company nearly destroyed him. You brought him back to life." Maya softened. "Thank you. Don't thank me. Just take care of him, and let him take care of you. That's what marriage is." During dinner, someone brought up the wedding. "Must have been quite a scandal," a board member said. "Chloe leaving like that." The table went quiet. Everyone looked at Ethan. He set down his fork. "It was. But it was also the best thing that ever happened to me." "How so?" someone asked. "Because it freed me. It showed me that the life I was living wasn't the life I wanted. It pushed me to find something real. Someone real." He looked at Maya. "If Chloe hadn't left, I never would have met Maya. Never would have become a father to Lila. Never would have found actual happiness. So yeah, it was a scandal. But I'd go through it again in a heartbeat if it meant ending up where I am now." Maya's eyes stung with tears. The table was silent for a moment. Then the CFO raised her glass. "To new beginnings," she said. "To new beginnings," everyone echoed. Ethan took Maya's hand under the table and squeezed. They drove home on Sunday. Lila fell asleep in the back seat before they even left the city. The weekend had exhausted her. "That wasn't so bad," Maya said. "No, it wasn't. But I'm glad to be going home." "Me too." They drove in comfortable silence for a while. Then Ethan said, "I'm going to do it, step away completely." "From the company?" "Yeah, I'll finish out this quarter, help transition my responsibilities. But then I'm done. I want to be home, with you and Lila. I want to coach her soccer team when she's old enough. I want to help you run the diner. I want to build things with my hands and fix things and be present for every single moment." "You're sure?" "Completely sure. I've spent my whole life chasing success, building empires, making money, and none of it made me happy. But you, Lila, this life we're building, that makes me happy. That makes me feel alive." Maya reached over and took his hand. "I love you so much. I love you too, both of you. My whole world fits in this car." Winter came to the coastal town. The tourists disappeared. The beaches emptied. The town settled into its quiet, off-season rhythm. Ethan and Maya bundled Lila up and took her to see the first snow. She'd seen snow before, but not like this. Not with a father to build snowmen with her. Not with two parents who had time to play. They built a snow family in the front yard. Mama Snow, Daddy Snow, Baby Snow. Lila insisted on making them hold hands. "Just like us," she said. Mrs. Johnson came over with hot chocolate. She watched Ethan and Lila have a snowball fight, both of them laughing and shrieking. "You did good, baby," she told Maya. "Thanks, Mama. I was wrong about him. I'm woman enough to admit that. You were just protecting me." "I was, but he's proven himself. He's not going anywhere." "No, he's not." They stood together, watching. 2 generations of strong women. 2 generations of struggle and survival and hope. "You deserve this happiness," Mrs. Johnson said. "Don't ever forget that." "I won't, Mama." On Christmas morning, they woke to chaos. Lila burst into their bedroom at 6 a.m., jumping on the bed. "Santa came, Santa came." They stumbled out of bed and followed her to the living room. The tree glowed with lights. Presents spilled out from underneath it. Ethan had gone overboard. Maya had told him not to, but he couldn't help himself. This was his first Christmas as a father. He wanted it to be perfect. Lila tore through her presents, books, art supplies, a new bike with training wheels, dolls, games, everything she'd written on her list to Santa. But the present that made her cry was the smallest one. It was a small velvet box. Inside was a necklace, a delicate gold chain with 3 charms, an M for Maya, an E for Ethan, and an L for Lila. "It's our family," Lila whispered. "All together." "That's right," Ethan said. His voice was thick with emotion. "All together. Always." Lila threw her arms around him. "You're the best daddy in the whole world. You're the best daughter in the whole world." Maya watched them, tears streaming down her face. Happy tears, grateful tears. Later, after Lila had fallen asleep, surrounded by wrapping paper and new toys, Ethan gave Maya her present. It was a key. "What's this?" she asked. "A key to the diner, official owner. No more payments. It's yours, free and clear." "Ethan, I know what you're going to say, that it's too much, that you can't accept it. But Maya, you've given me everything. Let me give you this. Let me give you security, independence, a business you can pass down to Lila someday. I don't know what to say. Say you'll accept it. Say you'll let me be your partner in everything." Maya looked at the key, then at her husband, this man who kept proving, day after day, that love was real, that promises could be kept, that families could be built from broken pieces. "Okay," she whispered. "Yes, thank you." They kissed under the Christmas tree, surrounded by the debris of their daughter's joy in the home they'd built together. New Year's Eve came quietly. They didn't go out, didn't attend parties, just stayed home as a family. They made pizza from scratch, Lila helping roll out the dough. They played board games, they watched movies. At 11:30, Ethan opened a bottle of sparkling cider. He poured 3 glasses. "What are we doing?" Lila asked. "Making toasts," Ethan said. "It's a tradition. You say something you're grateful for, something you're looking forward to." "I'll go first," Maya said. She raised her glass. "I'm grateful for second chances, for love that heals, for this family, and I'm looking forward to every single day of the rest of our lives together." "Beautiful," Ethan said. He raised his glass. "I'm grateful for the worst day of my life, because it led me to the best days of my life. I'm grateful for Maya's courage, for Lila's trust, for becoming a husband and a father, and I'm looking forward to growing old with you both." They looked at Lila. She thought hard, her face serious. Then she raised her glass. "I'm grateful for my daddy, and I'm looking forward to, pancakes tomorrow?" They burst out laughing. "Perfect," Ethan said. "Absolutely perfect." When midnight came, they counted down together. 10, 9, 8. The numbers echoed through their little house, through their little family. 3, 2, 1. "Happy New Year!" They clinked their glasses. Lila's sparkled in the light. Outside, fireworks burst over the harbor. Colors splashed across the sky, red, blue, gold, green. But inside, the Pierce family held each other close. Maya thought about the journey that had brought them here, the grocery store collision, the diner repairs, the pier walks, the fair, the proposals, the wedding. Every step, every choice, every risk. It had all led to this moment, to this family, to this love. "What are you thinking?" Ethan asked softly. "I'm thinking that a year ago I would never have believed this was possible. This much happiness, this much peace. Believe it. It's real. I know. I finally know." Lila yawned and leaned against Maya. "Can we have pancakes now? It's midnight, baby. Pancakes are for morning. But I want them now." Ethan laughed. "Tell you what, how about we have midnight pancakes to start the new year?" "Really? Really? Special occasion." So they went to the kitchen, made pancakes at midnight, ate them with syrup and butter and far too much whipped cream. They made a mess. They laughed. They were together. And that was everything. Months passed in beautiful routine. Spring brought warmth. Summer brought tourists. Fall brought color. Ethan officially adopted Lila in May. They went to court, signed papers, made it legal. When the judge said, "Mr. Pierce, you are now legally Lila's father," Ethan cried. So did Maya. So did Lila. Even the judge looked misty-eyed. They celebrated with ice cream, their tradition. The diner thrived under Maya's ownership. She hired more staff, updated the menu, kept the hometown feel but added her own touches. Ethan helped when needed, but mostly stayed out of the way. This was Maya's dream, her business, her success. He found his own purpose. He started volunteering at the community center, teaching kids about business and finance, helping with career planning. He also started writing. A book about finding yourself after loss, about rebuilding after humiliation, about the courage it takes to start over. He didn't know if anyone would read it, but that wasn't the point. The point was the healing it brought, the closure. And through it all, Lila grew. She lost teeth and gained confidence. She learned to ride her bike without training wheels. She made friends. She thrived. 1 year after their wedding, they returned to the beach. Same spot, same sunset, but different people. Stronger, happier, more certain. Can you believe it's been a year? Maya asked. Best year of my life, Ethan said. Mine too. Lila was building a sandcastle nearby. She'd gotten so tall, so grown up, but she was still their baby. Do you ever regret it? Maya asked. Leaving Boston, giving up the company, the money, the status. Not for a single second. Do you? Regret you crashing into me at the grocery store? Absolutely not. He laughed and pulled her close. They watched the sun sink toward the horizon. The sky turned orange and pink and purple. Mama! Daddy! Come see! Lila called. They walked over. She'd built an elaborate castle with turrets and a moat. Seashells decorated the walls. It's beautiful, Maya said. It's for us, Lila announced. Our castle, where we live forever. Forever sounds perfect, Ethan said. He knelt down and helped her add more shells. Maya joined them. They worked together as the sun set, as the waves crashed, as the world turned. A family, whole and happy and home. Later, walking back to their car, Lila held both their hands. She swung between them, laughing. I love our life, she said. We do too, Maya and Ethan said together, because it was true. This simple, beautiful, ordinary life. This life they'd built from broken pieces and second chances. This life they'd chosen. This was the life they'd been meant to live all along. They just had to find each other first, and now that they had, they were never letting go. Sometimes the worst moments of our lives lead us to the best ones. Sometimes we have to lose everything to find what truly matters. Sometimes love comes crashing into our lives unexpectedly, in a grocery store, at a diner, on a pier at sunset. And sometimes, if we're brave enough to take the risk, if we're courageous enough to try again, if we're willing to trust and hope and love despite our fear, sometimes we find our forever. Ethan found his, Maya found hers, Lila found the father she deserved, and together they found home, not in a place but in each other, and that was the greatest love story of all.